Hey, greetings and welcome to Code Quickie. And today we're going to be looking at uploading file data using the Google Drive APIs. Now, working with Google Drive APIs, there are several different ways you can go ahead and upload the same file. You could go ahead and we have ways for dealing with small files, we have ways for dealing with big files, and we have file conversion, right? So in this lab, we're going to be looking at uploading file data using Google Drive, and the application we're going to use for our web data is Angular. Now, Angular is the web framework for modern web development. It answers all of your needs. It fills all your requirements, and development and scalability is the best as ever. React is on its way down, and Angular is up its way up. So today in this lab and throughout these courses, as you go off my journey with me on getting Google Cloud certified, we will be using Angular as well as another Google product. So let us step in. And get going with this lab here. So first what we want to go ahead and do is download the web application right at this link. Right, we're going to go ahead and download the red web application, and then depend if you have Node and npm installed on your computer, you want to just go ahead into the root directory and just want to run npm install install -s, and that will get the folder set up for you to use. And then say, for example, if you have Angular already installed and ready to go, right, you kind of want to leave that resource out of there. I say npm install s, because this project here, this lab here, is using a different version of Angular when you might not be using, right? And after that, what we want to go ahead and do is you want to go ahead and run and serve the application with this command. And usually there might be some issues that I hear about hot reload and how it takes time. I'll post a video on how to work with Angular.json that actually could speed up the hot reload and the building time. As you can see, as it went quickly like there, I did take it one sentence, but now here's our Angular application. So once you have your Angular application ready, right? I gave you the open flag. I didn't run it with the open flag, but if you use the open flag, it actually opens the browser for you. So that's that flag. What I want you to do when you're in the application, you want to open up the developer tab as needed. Okay, and we're going to be using the console, the developer console, just to see how GCP works as it's uploading your files into Google Cloud Drive. Right. So now what we want to go ahead and do is we want to set up our credentials. Right. We want to head over to our upload directive. Our uploader directive or directives are a great way to extend the functionality of your web apps. When you're using Angular applications, you want to go ahead and paste your credentials here. You can see that I have a client ID and I have an API key to go ahead and set up that I need, as you can see, pasted here. But how do I go about setting that up? Well, what I want to do is I want to go over to console.developers.google.com. And then I want to head over to the credentials tab. And then I just want to go, you see I have these here, but I want to create an API key and an OAuth client ID, not the service account. And just to configure these, once you created them in the API key, you just want to, just for security, you want to go ahead, restrict the key to Google Drive API. The UI is straightforward to do it yourself. I'm not going to take your time to try to explain that. And OAuth, you want to go ahead and actually provide an origin. You actually need this, or else you don't have any access to use this API. You want to say your OAuth 2.0 is coming from localhost 8000 for this lab, or from a different localhost if you're running a dev server, or for a different domain if you're using this in production. And what you want to go ahead and do after you allow that, you just wait 10 minutes for Google Cloud Platform to update itself, especially with your account, and you want to copy the key, want API key, you want to copy the client ID, and you want to place in environment.drive TS like so. Now, after this, we are ready to work with Google Cloud Platform. We're authenticating, we have all the authentication that we need to go ahead to work with the SDK and their Drive REST API. So next we want to do, we want to set the code to go ahead and connect to the API. So we're going to load up the SDK here, give us access, and we need to load it, and especially load a certain part. And we use that using discovery docs. You can see in the URL, Drive v3 and the REST API specifically because there are a lot. Google Cloud Platform, their SDK is massive, is big. You don't need all of it. You just need a part of it. So that we need to load it in such a way that we get to work with the latest, versions, and we get to only work with the stuff that we need, right? So this is basically the code that we're looking at to go ahead and load the op to the SDK. This is independent of Angular. You could do this in React. You could do this with basic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? So now we are connected to the SDK. You have all the code available for us to go ahead and work with the Drive SDK. Next thing we want to do is we want to perform a simple upload. We take this code, copy and paste like so, using the request method on the SDK, and in environment.drive, we want to look at upload. We want to make sure simple is true. So after that, after this is set up, really simple upload, it should be a simple setup. We want to go ahead and upload our file. We're going to use simple yes.json, for example. And now from an OAuth 2.0, if it's your first time log into the application, usually we're going to have to go ahead and log in, right? You know, it doesn't happen here. That's okay. We just sign out and just try to indicate what's going on. And you're just going to upload as needed. We sign out as needed, and say if we want to sign in, yeah, it's interesting. It probably kept me sign in. I have to look at the code, but that's okay. But usually when you run the app for the first time, sign in screen comes up and you have to go ahead and sign in from there, right? So now our files uploaded. We can see our files are uploaded right now. Simple upload is simple by its name. That means no metadata, right? It just gives you the file. We're trying to take a look at the file. We want to see what's in there, and we see our JSON that we uploaded, right? And now if you want to give your file a name, if you want to give your file some more information, want to go ahead and use multi-part. So that's what we're going to be doing next in this lab. We're going to be doing a multi-part upload, right? So first things first, right? You want to turn off simple, and then you want to turn on multi-part. And now we copy this code and paste like so, right? And right, so now we need we're getting our metadata. We just want to indicate our metadata with content type, upload content type. There's basically two. Content type is basically the file that is coming into the API. Upload type is how it should present itself on Google Drive. And you can change this to a G Suite document. That's going ahead and changing the MIME type, which is the upload content type. We won't do this. We'll try to do this in another video. And you can express all that metadata in the multi-part body, as you can see in this code, right? And there's a specific way that Google Cloud Platform needs the multi-part body to come in. As you can see, it needs these delimiters, and it needs special sectioning to section off your metadata, and the body of the file, the file content of the file, just to indicate how the API should go ahead and process, right? So that's all code that we need for multi-part, yet simple again, made very simple Angular. We go back to app and we want to upload. And as you can see it refreshed, right? All this XHR kind of disappeared. You can see it refreshed itself pretty quickly there. Multipart.json. And we go ahead and upload. All right, now we signed out, it seems, or not. All right, and you sign back in, right? Google Drive API is probably having some issues, right? They always have it updated. Me, when I work with libraries, I rather just have it on my computer. I rather have the latest stable version than the latest version, but that's okay. But if someone watching this video actually sees that, that'll be fine. So next, what we want to go ahead and do is you want to work with resumable uploads. Now, resumable uploads, we deal with big files, like files, say if you're trying to upload a folder, if you're trying to use your application and say if it's a backup application or you have a database you want to upload and it's big and it's clear going to be on the order of gigabytes or so, say in production, want to go ahead and use the resumable upload. Let's go ahead and get that set up. Want to turn this from false to true. And now we want to go ahead and paste this code. And controlful is going to be a bit much, right? There's going to be a lot of more logic involved to get this done. That's okay. We could walk through it step by step, right? So first things first, we want to go ahead and do is you want to tell the API that we're going to start a resumable session, right? And then what the API tells us back is like, okay, you want to start a resumable session? Here's your resumable session API. If we look at this code, right, we go ahead and grab the file contents, but then we kind of ask to make a file, but its upload type is resumable, right? And we're going to be uploading a file with this name, right? So the metadata is not left out. You can actually specify them in the body for a post request that we're going to go ahead and send. Okay. And now what we're going to need a lot of info when we're actually setting up this first request, right? So we're going to copy and paste that code right here. Yeah, so first what we need is that file size. We want that file size to see how many bytes in total that Google Drive has to allocate, because in Google Cloud Platform, they're dealing with petabytes, they're dealing with terabytes, and just to allocate petabytes for something that might be gigabytes, or just to allocate gigabytes, something's unknown, right? Google needs to know, right? So usually you want to provide the file size and all the bytes information about the length during the upload. But if it's unknown, we can show you how you can make that obsolete, right? So when we're passing along chunks, when you're uploading using their resumable upload to Google Drive, you want to upload with 256 kilobyte blocks, which is 256 times 1024 bytes. It always confuses me once you use 1000 and 1024, but usually I mean to 1024, and I'm usually correct, right? Because bytes, there's a binary system, number system, and decimal number system in here, right? And now, say for example, if our file is smaller than that 256 kilobyte byte, say if you have a file smaller than 5 megabytes, and just out of the sake of laziness, we want to just use a resumable upload, we always want to make sure that we indicate for the chunks that we're sending, it's always one less than the file size. Okay, and we want to go ahead and the headers, we just want to make sure that if we're not using the SDK, if we're making REST API calls as we're doing so here, right, we want to go ahead and set up, we make sure we have that access token and we set this in our header here like so, right? So now, well, after that, we want to go ahead to do is we want to get the information that we need to start the upload, right? We go ahead and make that request, and then Google says, I like the data that you sent me. I like the headers that you sent me. I like you sent exactly the way I needed it. I know you studied hard, and here is a resumable URL, right? As indicated here, we want that resumable URL, and we get this in the location header from the response, right? And now, as we set up our upload, right, we need a request header, and we give it the content range in this format, as you can see, as you're going to see as you continue to set this up. right? And then we want to see our progress. This progress is good. Say if you have a progress bar in the application, we can see the progress as we upload our file through the content range and the range headers like so. Okay, so right, we're not going back to the app yet. Actually, you know what? Let's go back to the app. Let's just see what happened. Let's just see what that resumable URL looks like. Right, we're going to get an error, but that's okay. Right, and chance is not defined, right? But we got that network, right? And we want to take a look at the response. Oh yeah, right. It's going to be in our headers, right? So we're going to just take a look at the response headers, and then the location. This is the resumable URL that we got to grab, right? So in the Angular app, right, it's not going to provide any response. There's going to be no response that comes back, which throws you off even further. Obviously, something in Google Cloud Platform, right? You're confused, you don't know what to do. Give us a call, pay us money, and we'll help you out. That's how their platform works. But with this video, you're getting this advice for free. Just please like, share, and subscribe. Right, so you want to go ahead and do it in your Angular app, right? We're using the HTTP, Angular HTTP API. You want to go ahead and tell Angular to look at the whole response using this parameter for its options, for its third argument that you passed to the post method. Want to go ahead, observe the whole response so you can take a look at the headers, because when you're getting the resumable session URI, it's giving you no data in the body in return, right? So now that's settled. Now we go ahead and get our file content. We go ahead and get a file content, which we already got. Like maybe we made another API call somewhere, or the user uploaded as in our lab. We go get our file content, right? All the data that's in the file we need to upload, and now we're going to go ahead and start this session, right, in our upload session. So with that said, in our upload session, let's go ahead and paste this code, this function right here, right? And in this, right, you're going to use a put request, and put requests in HTTP methods are for at the very, you're trying to update a resource. Post is when you're sending data. Put is when you're actually updating a resource, right? Very important, because there's a lot of caching going on. And if you're not familiar with caching, you're going to get very thrown off, especially with the GCP, right? So first things we want to do after we set up this put request as needed, right? You just take a look, right? You have the URL as given here, URL, resumable URL shows up here. Then the file content, you want to start off from the offset, and then you want to add to that end offset. This chunk right here, it actually represents the end offset. All right, and you just have to get these exact, or else your data is going to be corrupted there. And you definitely want to investigate if you're trying to upload an image. Your data is getting uploaded, you're getting a response of 200, but something's wrong. Keep saying the file is corrupted. Definitely want to take a look here just to see if this might be your issue, because these offsets might throw you off. It's correctly recorded when you specify the content range, but you're setting the actual pieces of data. Google lets you do that by yourself because it doesn't know the file that's working with. It's just uploading. So you definitely want to take a look here. Right. So as we get responses, what we want to do is we want to take all the responses, right? Some response status codes, Angular might think that they are errors. We don't want them to be errors. We actually want to go ahead and process them in describe callback. So we're going to use the pipe. We're going to use our pipe, and we're going to use a pipe operator catch error and actually send them on for Angular to process for our app, especially in this application, right? So now we're uploading. We are in the primary. What should we usually expect from the resumable is that, wait, we got one chunk, and now we need another. Include GCP specifies that by using result status equals 308. So 308 is that basically indicates that we need to continue to upload more. Right, and the coding here is just basically a repeat of the data that we need to continue. All we're doing is just adding 256 kilobytes in number to the offset and setting that up in our headers and with our data with the file content in order to get that sent. and then we just call, and then we do a little recursion here. We just call it, we just do the same process over and over until we get an error or until we have a file that's finished uploading, right? So basically in this code, as you can see here, I want to cause an error. I want to cause an error here, and just to indicate what happens when we come across a 400 error, right? So before we do that, let me just comment this out and let us actually upload. Let's just upload. Let's say, for example, we have a regular upload and there's no errors, right? We lost the internet connection. There's no latency issues that we have to deal with. We get a good upload. And we upload like so. I want to just make a tiny modification because I don't want to spend here too long. And now we can look at the logs, console logs. Now, as you can see, right, this is the content range. That's that content range. That's that range. You could definitely use this in your application for progress bars to indicate how long we are taking to upload. Right, and then you can see when it's uploading the last chunk, right, we don't add another 256 we don't add another 256 KB to this number. We actually add that file size -1, and we can see that file is uploaded, and we can see it here in Resumable. Okay, and now say for example we actually go ahead and get an error. Right, what we want to do is we want to restart the upload by just basically calling the function. As you can see here in Resumable upload, when we actually restart the upload session, that's how we start it. We just want to go ahead and restart it, say, for example. All right, so I'm going to cause an error. I'm going to cause an error here. This is just to represent internet connection was cut off and we got an error. It will be a 500 error, usually 500, 400 errors, but let us see what happens. All right, so I'm uploading our bytes, and then we're going to get an error soon. Right, so that is our error, right? So what we do is just start over again. And our file will be uploaded, right? A bit longer than hotly reloading on Angular. That's okay, right? We have uploaded our application, and there you go. You saw the page update, right? So when dealing with resumable uploads, you can get all sorts of error codes. When dealing with uploads in general, you can get all sorts of error codes, right? I would really like to go through these one by one, but there are just too many error codes out there and too many scenarios even I can't generate. So what you want to do in those situations, you want to work with your end users, you want to work with your application, and as you come across those errors, research them and study them one by one. Right, so, and that is it. That is our lab with dealing with uploads, with doing file uploads to Google Drive API. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and always comment. Always reach out to me in the comments. Always want to help everybody on this journey as I go on this journey to get my GCP data certifications. So thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and most importantly, reach out to me in the comments, help you and assist you with your projects, with your APIs, and anything that you need.